Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing. If you haven't had your prima's new novio smash that subscribe button, go ahead and have them smash it right now. First and foremost, let me give a shout out to that retired CEO. He always comes through on the live. Shout out, my boy. Thank you. Next, our patrons, Miguel, Chris, AI Vega, Theo, Claudia, Miguel, Let Our Actions Lead Others to Christ, Big Bad 48, John Wick, Nova, Jack, Linda, Michigan Wolverines, the homie Marius, Chevelle 66, Abuelita's Journey, Gigi, and Daus Herrero. If you have not already signed up for that Patreon, make sure you hit that link in the description below. You do not want to be left out. This episode right here, man, people have been saying, hey, Hector, you took your foot off the gas pedal when you're talking about administration. No, and no, right? Strategy, right? Marathon. Not a sprint. We're going to walk down that hill. We ain't going to run down that hill. Referring to the baby bull and the papa bull story, if you don't already be knowing it. So, by now, you guys, my fellow warriors that are following along, have come to realize that all not CEOs are dicks, right? But that most managers are unethical. That's a fair enough statement. That's fair enough, right? Not only through my own experience, but through the gathering of the masses, right? So what does an audit look like? What does a dog and pony show look like? What does getting fronted off look like? Well, I'm going to tell you. Having worked for the California Department of Corrections for 16 years at 2 different prisons, right, through the rank of officer, sergeant, and lieutenant, I've seen quite a few audits in my time. Well, Hector, what's an audit? Is it like any other job where they come and they look at paperwork and they see that everything's on the up and up? Yeah, technically, on paper, sounds good, right? The problem with working at Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility, RJD, was that it is in San Diego. San Diego is probably, I've been around the world. The weather in San Diego is by far the best, right? Except for this past month of April. I don't know what's going on, right? But we don't got to worry about tornadoes, typhoons, tsunamis, earthquakes. Yeah, but, I'll take my chances. How many different audits? Well, you have the Coleman audit, the Clark audit. You have a security audit, which I don't know how Donovan passes, right? But, or even if they do, but considering that it's San Diego and your taxpayer money or wherever the money they're getting from, these people come down from wherever they come down and they probably stay at the Hilton, they probably stay at the Doubletree, right? The Hyatt, nice hotels on the beach, drinking their cocktails, come to the prison, walk around, ask some questions, and then fail us, right? Why wouldn't they fail us? They would fail us so that they can be like, all right, guys, fix your shit. We'll be back next year around June when the beach is cracking. You got the sun, right? You guys can see it's kind of like a scam, clearly. Because I don't really ever think there was an audit where they said, like, great job, guys. You guys passed with flying colors. And even if it was a scam, right? So at some point in my career, I stopped caring. 100% it felt great. So what does it look like? So I think by now you have gathered that officers in the building have a different rapport with the inmates than when the higher-ups walk around. Even a sergeant, even a lieutenant, a captain, an associate warden. Associate wardens shouldn't be walking around, right? They should be in their office. Same with the captains. Take notes. And it's almost like a loose program. And I'm not going to say giving up the house, right? Giving up the house means that you're so scared, you don't know how to say no, and you gave up the house, right? The inmates are running wild on you, right? This is more of, you got the dad figure, the mother figure, right? One stern, which one is stern, the other one is kind of like chill, right? So, like, hey, yeah, you can do this, right? You're getting that leniency. So when the higher ups come around, it's like, hey, tighten up the ship, right? Hey, don't front me off. Don't front me off. And there's a clear understanding between the inmate population and the correctional staff. Clear understanding. They don't want to be fronted off because they know if they get fronted off, that it's going to mess up the program, right? So, well, what do you mean, Hector? Is there like all out chaos and anarchy going on? No, just certain little things here. You like, I can't even think of examples, right? But just let me give you one example. One time I was a young correctional officer in Bravo Yard, Centinela, level 3 GP. I'm chilling at the podium, minding my own damn business, right? Some captain walks in who was not very liked at all, right? This was before my whole disdain for administration. He comes in, the captain comes in, unannounced, mind you, walks straight to a cell, opens the door, and comes out with a radio. An inmate radio. I'm like, he's like, how is it that I haven't even been 1 minute in your building and I'm already confiscating contraband, a radio? It's a floater or loaner. It doesn't belong to him. And I just looked at him like, because I got bigger problems to worry about, like not getting shanked in the neck. He's like, well, you're afraid of getting shanked in the neck. Maybe you shouldn't work at a prison. And I let out a sigh like that, right? So he left. And the inmate kind of looked at me like, hey, what was up with that? And I'm like, I don't know, man. But that's gone, right? That's gone. You saw what happened. Meaning like, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, do we know inmates have stuff they're not supposed to have? Of course, 100%. A loaner radio would be one of them. But I'll tell you what, as an officer, you're not going to be chasing around every building, every inmate, see what they don't or do have. That comes for when an inmate is acting out of pocket, out of line, goes sideways on you, has a bad day. It's like a standoff. Like he makes a move, you make a move, right? That's what it's more give and take type. So here we go. These dumb fucking audits, man. I tell you what. So you have your managers, captains, associate wardens, chief deputy wardens. As they are trying to suck their way to the top to Sacramento headquarters, right? Sabotaging and sacrificing everybody in their path, right? To climb the ranks. All of a sudden, they want to be involved. They want to help. And they'll make these little cheat sheets like, hey, this is what they might ask you. This is what they might ask you. So make sure your officers know how to answer. And I'm like, get the fuck out of my face, please. Get your bullshit and get out of my face, right? I got a prison yard to run. Man, I got a lot of coffee to drink. As you can see, the pot's full, right? The homies are here. We want to chat, right? My partners, don't get it twisted. So, here we go. That's what it looks like, right? You guys want to know what green looks like? All these stupid little cheat sheets, these little notes. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Let it fail. Let it fail. Let me tell you what it reminds me of, right? It reminds me of being in an abusive relationship, right? You got a husband, and I'm not making light of the situation. I'm being honest. You got a husband that beats the shit out of his wife, right? But when family comes over, they want to put makeup all over the wife and like patch her up. Like, oh, babe, how you look good. You look good. Don't worry. Don't say nothing. Like, hey, they just be beating the dog shit out of us a whole year. And then the audit comes around and everybody acts like it's all honky-dory. Well, it ain't all honky-dory, right? And I could even attest that maybe the inmates don't even want to say nothing out of pocket, right? Unless you're an SNY inmate at Donovan. Then they be singing like canaries and they be like putting extra. Oh, yeah, that Lieutenant Bravo right there. One time he came to work with a pencil and he put it in me. What? Why would I do that? Jesus, that's how far out Donovan can get, right? So then a whole year investigation. Bravo, did you really put that pencil in that inmate? No, why would I do that? That's disgusting, right? That's what I used to write down my notes. Anyhow, that's what that looks like, right? So everybody scrambles. I got to leave you with a banger before I end this one, right? This one has to be continued. I just gave you the top layer, right, of the enchilada, the lasagna. So at Centinela, right, I told you when the higher-ups come around, we will call building the building. This is me as an officer talking. We'll call, hey, the sergeant's walking. going from this building, it means straighten your shit up. If you so happen to have a magazine, which you're not supposed to have, you get the magazine, you put it in the drawer, right? Ain't nobody tripping, right? Right? Unless you're Captain Homito, you go over there, you open drawers, and then you get everybody caught up in a wreck, right? For personal gain. Now he's out on workman's comp. What do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you? It's the truth. So, there was an officer in visiting on Delta Yard. One of the cool things about visiting back then, which I liked, is like, hey, during the week, you're working the buildings, right? So you get to see who's who, what's what, and then on the weekends, you get to work the visiting. I think that's a good program because you can see like who's bringing in dope, who's controlling the yard. You get to see these kind of things. It's a good vantage point. Well, at Centinela, in the podium, you have a PA system. It's a speaker inside and outside the patio area. So you have your indoor seating for your visitors, and then you go through some glass doors. You have an outdoor patio area, right? That's where they be doing stuff, right? The hands be going places they ain't supposed to be going, right? Maybe their mouths. I can't believe you just said that. I'm just keeping it real, right? Real, raw, and uncut. That's what's up. Here I go rhyming again. So anyhow, Sergeant comes around the corner. The officer gets on the PA system just like this and says, "Sergeant walking." That little sergeant with all his little man syndrome walks up to the officer and says, "Why'd you say that, man?" And he's like, "Say what?" "You said sergeant walking." He's like, "No, I didn't." They fired that officer. They fired that officer for being less than truthful. Right? That is crazy. That is crazy. So the message for today, man, and it's a good message because it's speaking to the masses in whatever walks of life you got, man. If you are in that position, right, where you're getting your ass kicked left and right the majority of the year, right, and then something comes around where they want to sugarcoat, paint a perfect picture, dog and pony show, hey, do the right thing. Stand up for what's right. Don't switch up. Don't play their game. You're playing that game, right? And I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of playing that game till the light bulb went off, right? So let me be that light bulb. Again, if you haven't signed up for that Patreon, hit that link in the description below. Thank you. Keep pushing forward.